All right, hello. So I wanted to start making these videos because we only get so long to teach our ostomy patients how to care for their stuff in the hospital, or some even get discharged a little bit before we even maybe get a chance to check up on people, just depending on circumstances. So I wanted to go over in future videos and in this one how to change your pouch, things to look for, um, concerns that you might have covering different things that you may be concerned about or have questions about. And this also too would cover the process of changing your pouch, how to cut the backing, etc. And we'll get into that. This is my first time filming videos like this, so it's probably gonna be a little choppy, bear with me. I did get this ostomy sticker at a conference, and I'm using it as a visual representation of where you may have an ostomy placed. We look at it as the 4 quadrants. Some people may have theirs in the lower quadrants. In that case, we're considering the waist belt of your pants or where a belt might sit. I'll consider those in future videos or mention them in this one. But main thing I wanted to go over today is how to change a pouch and supplies that you might see. Only thing I don't have on me today is ostomy powder, but I will go over what's called crusting in a completely different video. I want to break this all down as simple as possible so that you can reference these videos going forward, and that way you feel more equipped to take care of your stoma and less alone in your journey. So first things first is whether it's in the upper or the lower quadrants, whether you have an ileostomy or a colostomy, there are different bags that we might use. What I have here is the Hollister 8931. That's what we use a lot of the time where I'm at. Different pouches work for different people. Different hospitals carry different products. All good either way. They will find one that works for you and the contours of your belly. And so one of the things that we look at when we are in pre-op is ways to have you bend, and where does the dip fold on your belly. We have you turn because we want to see where the creases form. Same thing with standing up, bending over, things like that. We want to see that your stoma has room to kind of wiggle and has, not that it's going to be wiggling, but has a pouch space so that it's not right on your belly button, not right on any of that. So yes, again, just using this as a visual. So for the 8931, you've got the backing of this, and it can go all the way out to here for the cutting, if need be, if you have a loop, which tends to take up more room. When you first get your stoma, it will be swollen from surgery. Just like anything would, if you have a knee replaced, it's gonna be a little bit swollen from the surgery, right? After about 6 to 8 weeks, your stoma should be of size. And so that's when you can start prepping a couple bags in advance. Before then, we ask you to go ahead and measure each time, as it might shrink a little bit when the swelling goes down. And so with this, you want to remember, I'm checking each time up until 6 to 8 weeks. Then it should be of a size. And so the way you're going to do that is you're going to hold the bag up and kind of get a good idea for where it lands on this pouch. So for this one, if I have it right here in the center, it is at about the 1 3/4, maybe a little bit less. There are also templates that we can help you use or see how they're used in future videos, where you would just hold them up and it gives you a good idea of what this size would represent. So you just place it down and it shows you what it is based on which template it fits within. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and say it's between a 1 3/8 and a 1 3/4, somewhere in between there. Now, if I cut it too small, then I'm going to cut it a bit larger. If I cut it too big, if it's way too large, I'm going to use a new bag because I don't want it completely cut all the way out. I want it kind of hugging the area just a bit. You never want your bag to be right up on the edges of the stoma in case when you're active, it rubs on the stoma. And that could cause bleeding or some type of irritation to the peristomal skin, but mainly the bleeding and irritation of the actual stoma itself. Stomas are the inside of your intestines flipped outwards. I know that visual might be a lot for some people. It is your intestine flipped outwards so that it can have a safe passage out this way. However, they are very vascular. So if I nick it with my fingernail or what have you, it will bleed. There's ways to take care of that. Again, with the stoma powder, you can just place a little bit on there and it should help stop the bleeding. So main thing with this bag, it's in circular form. So typically when you leave the hospital, you are going to get some slightly curved scissors. If not, there are a lot of companies that when you purchase your products, may send you these curved scissors with it. They may also give you reference to places that you can get them. I do believe fast places such as Amazon can get them to you in a pinch. And if in a really big pinch, sometimes there are ostomy clinics that have extras that you could pick up that day in the meantime of trying to get your own. And I don't mean that to use that in every case, but if you're in an emergency, something happens to your scissors, your bag pops off and you have no other way to cut them, you can also use straight scissors. It's just not as easy, but it is possible. So one of the things I also like to teach my patients here is when I go to clean out my bag, it's kind of stuck to itself right now because it has not been used. So you're going to have to kind of work it, something we teach people to do so that it is much easier to empty the bag, is to cut a little triangle. And the reason we do that is it's almost like a little grab tab, just like a nice little easy way. So if I have my pouch closed, my pouch is on, and I want to go ahead and take it off like I'm opening it, it is much easier to just go ahead and grab where that triangle is and then empty. I'll also put up a video about the very basics of emptying your pouch so that everybody can be comfortable with that. But for today, just doing the pouch change. But go ahead and have a little grab tab cut out of your pouch so it's easier when you want to get it open. So we've got our bag, we cut our little grab tab, okay? Now we're gonna prepare our bag. Hypothetically, I already have a bag on. It's collecting stool. In case I function, I'm gonna leave it on until I have this one prepped. So I'm gonna go ahead, pop the back of the bag out, give it some room. I don't wanna accidentally puncture this part of the bag. The only reason that you should ever catch an odor from your bag is if A, there is a leak, my bag is starting to peel off the top and there's some of the inside of the bag is open to the outside air, or I didn't clean the bottom of this very well. There's many ways that you can clean these. Something to think about. Anything that you can use on your bottom can be used on these bags. So I could use toilet paper, I can use baby wipes that are appropriate for the bottom. And I want to clean real good around this lower portion, clean the outside, clean the inside, and then clean the outside again until there's nothing surrounding this edge. Then I can roll it back up and Velcro it back into place. Because the main thing is you don't want residual on the end of it. So we pop our bag out, give it some room to breathe here. Okay, I'm gonna place my scissors in for me, I'm right-handed. Place my scissors in my right hand, and I start, doesn't matter where you start, I start at the 12 o'clock, and I start cutting in the way of the scissors. So you're going reverse clockwise. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut up to about here. There we go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let me see if I can turn that. It does not have to be perfectly on the line. The main thing I am looking for is to give my stoma room to breathe, but not too much room. So if I go over the line a little bit, or if I'm a little bit off center, that's all right. Let me move those scissors out of the way. All right, so I've cut my circle. I'm gonna check the inside. I'm gonna run my finger around the inside of the pouch, feeling for any sharp areas. The reason, again, if it is sharp to you and your finger, it would be sharp to the stoma, and the stoma likes to bleed if it gets poked. So I'm running my finger along the inside, and I don't feel any harsh areas. To check to make sure that I'm the right size, I'm gonna go ahead and place it over my stoma. I wanna give it about 1/4 of an inch of breathing room, just enough space that it's not right up on it, but not so much space that stool can get everywhere else on my happy skin that surrounds the stoma. So this is about right. There we go. Giving it enough room. Okay. If I was at the 6 to 8 weeks, then this backing of the pouch, taking that off, would become my new template. And that's what I mean by you can prep a couple different bags going forward, is you would place this on the back of a new bag, place it over, you can draw with a Sharpie where it lands, and then go ahead and cut you a couple bags just in preparation. The back of this bag is very, very sticky, and we want it to be. We want these bags to last about 3 to 5 days in between getting changed. So 3 to 5 days, what else can I do to keep it on there? So if my skin was pink and kind of angry, had some stool that got on there and upset my skin, I would use the crusting technique with the stoma powder, which I will go over in a totally different video. What we're gonna use today are the rings that go on the back of pouches. There are tons of types. I just happen to have an Ekin one on me today. There's the Sarah ring. There are so many rings out there. The main purpose of all of them, think of this like a toilet seal, okay? And we're gonna form it into a ramp that keeps the stool going into the bag. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm gonna take it out of the pouch. Like I said, these are gonna be very rough, these first few ones, while I get used to being on camera. So this is how it comes out. And it feels like Play-Doh because it acts like Play-Doh. So I'm gonna pull, 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 just kind of get it started. I'm just pulling it and it's getting larger. Okay. And I'm not even having to be very, like I'm not pulling. It's coming apart pretty easy itself. So then when I feel like I've got it at a size that will fit around the circle I just cut, I'm gonna start trying to figure out how to hold this so that people can see, maybe like that. I'm gonna start somewhere, doesn't matter where. And I'm gonna start placing this with just a little bit of room between the open area that I cut and the ring that I just made. It's okay if you overshoot the size, because what can happen is you can just double it up on itself. That's the cool piece of these rings, is that they're so moldable that if you have one that isn't perfect to size, or you start pulling it and it gets too stretched out, it's okay, it can overlap itself. So I've got it with a tiny bit of room around the opening, like maybe a 1/4 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. So giving some room. Reason I do that is I want to kind of gently push and make a ramp. So let me see if I can angle this. So that way, think of it like this. If I have it on my stoma, I want it to funnel stool into this bag. So if it was just flat, it could potentially get under this ring. So instead, I am making a little ramp so that the inner part of the ring is more flat, basically, and pushing it into the pouching area. So I'm going around the whole clock, making my ramp, and this protects your good skin. So we love that. Next, to go ahead and prep this bag. This is called stoma paste. This one is the Adapt paste. There are plenty of different ones. If you have extra sensitive skin, there is a paste without any alcohol that will not sting or burn. If your skin is already upset from stool getting on it, or some kind of maybe allergic reaction to some of the adhesive from a previous pouch, then there is a stoma powder, or excuse me, a stoma paste that doesn't have any alcohol in it. The only downside to that one is it's sometimes not as sticky because it doesn't have that alcohol component. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and take this paste and we're gonna go around the inside. And what does this one do? Think of it like caulk. I am filling the inside of the ring. So now, not only do I have a ramp that is funneling stool into the bag, I also have the paste giving extra protection to the stool to funnel it into the bag. So with that, I've got 2 layers of protection for my skin. And also the Eken ring helps to add stickiness so we can last the whole 3 to 5 days. So, okay, I've got my bag ready. What next? Spray, 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 or wipes. There are plenty of different types. again, I'm just working with what I had on hand today. There's different ones, but this one is a Convatec. You can either do it as a wipe, so there's a wipe form, or there's a spray. And I'm gonna take it out so you can see what it looks like. So I've got my, imagine, I've got my former bag here. Okay, here's my spray. Just wanted to do that, honestly. So spray, 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 spray all the way around. Spraying the whole bag. I am spraying this part of the bag, the like little adhesive area on the inside. Spray, spray, spray. And I can start to slowly peel those sides. If I have a lot of stool in here at the time of the pouch change, I'm gonna go ahead and empty it before, because it just makes it easier on you and less chance of a mess. So emptied it, the pouch is pretty much empty, maybe a little bit left in the bag. Spray it and start to remove it. Bag is off. I'm gonna just use water to clean my skin around here. If there's excess paste left over, I've got excess paste a little bit on my skin, or I have maybe some, like a little piece of Ekin or something, Ekin ring, I can go ahead and wipe off all of that with water. I've got a little bit of stool, go ahead and wipe it off, get it as clean as you can, and then we're gonna let that dry. Use our hands. Some people will use a hair dryer on a cool setting. Cool setting, you don't want to burn your skin. Cool setting, okay? And then when I feel like this area is truly dry, I'm gonna prep my skin. Why am I prepping my skin before I go ahead and put this bag on? Isn't it already sticky? These no sting barrier film, they're, again, so many brands, and if you ask your local ostomy nurse, clinic, etc., they can help you get your supplies ordered. This one is the 3M Kevlar no sting barrier film. When I take it out, it looks like this, a little square, okay? They all look like little squares, some are thicker than others. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and place it around my stoma. Now my skin is getting nice and tacky. It's real tacky. That's gonna help the bag stick. It's other benefits. And that was just a little bit of a not great job here, because this bag doesn't actually have purpose for me at the moment. But we're gonna go ahead and prep all the way around. Any area that might be touched by this bag, I wanna cover it with a no sting barrier film. Again, there's different types. There's a Smith & Nephew one that also does this. There's different types, but they are called no sting barrier films. Its other benefit, say some stool gets under my Ekin ring or gets under my stoma paste and the ring. So I'm gonna go ahead and say my skin's pretty protected. This barrier film keeps my good skin good. It keeps that area protected from things like stool, which can be more acidic and be upsetting to skin. It adds like an extra layer of protection. So it gets through your paste, your Ekin ring, etc. And go ahead, it's nice and sticky. I'm gonna go ahead and line it up. If you have a hard time seeing your stoma when you're sitting like this. So if I'm sitting like this and I can't directly see my stoma to guide this on, another way to do it is you can look in a mirror. So I've got this floor length mirror. I'm gonna stand looking into it and I'm gonna guide this on based on what I see in the mirror. until you see the stoma through the center of this. In this case, at the moment, I can see it because it's on my upper quad. I'm gonna go ahead and guide it down to where it's supposed to go. Awesome. So it's on there. It looks like, well, there's no breathing room because the paste, that's okay. We know that we cut the barrier, the pointy piece, large enough. We held it up and we measured. So now there are wings, what we call wings, on the side of your bag. Go ahead and take those off and lay down your pouch. There's one for each side. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay. Take your fingers and run them around the entire bag, making sure every piece of this is flat to your belly, okay? Every piece is flat. All right, so I've got my pouch on. How long am I gonna hold pressure for? And why do we hold pressure? We're gonna hold pressure on this for about 5 to 7 minutes. Our overachievers are gonna be at about 10, okay? So you're gonna hold pressure on here. The reason we're doing this, between the pressure, the gentle pressure, you don't have to shove hard, the gentle pressure and the heat from your hands, even if you have slightly cold hands from bad circulation, okay? The gentle heat, even if there's not much, and the gentle pressure helps that echin ring really form a seal with your skin. We love that. And then the stoma paste also gets kind of incorporated, and that heat also helps the pouch seal really well to your skin. So 5 to 7 minutes, 10 if you're feeling really good, and you're really wanting it to stay the whole 5 days. 10 might be your better bet there. If you only can wear yours for 3 days, that does not mean you did anything wrong. That just means that your stomach area maybe has certain divots that like to push up on the bag. That is okay. Or that particular product only wants to last 3 days for you. Also okay. Or you may be a very active person, and so you sweat a lot, and that may break things down. These bags can go in the shower with you. They are waterproof. All stoma covering bags are waterproof. And so you can shower with this bag. You can also, in between changes, if you so choose, take your bag off and shower without it. However, if you do this, there is the risk that you will function well in the shower, and that is just something that we want you to be aware of, okay? In the case that happens, when you get out, make sure your skin is really dry. Again, either very light padding with towels, or you can also do cool setting from the blow dryer. So we're gonna do that. Make sure it's real dry, and then you would put your pouch on like we just went over. Okay, again, showing you now that it's kind of sticking to my skin. How do I empty it? We can go over several methods in other videos. There are ways to be discreet in public. I'll definitely go over some ways to do that. If I was sitting on the toilet, I can sit and have this lean over. If you're worried about splashing, things like that. And that way it can be more discreet. If you're at home and the thought of doing that makes you uncomfortable, you may also empty it into a container and then put the container contents into the toilet. It's up to you on how you would like to do that. So yes, there are several ways to empty it, and we can go over more in other videos. But now you've got your bag, I've held pressure, it's been 7 minutes. you know, keep a look at the clock, and yeah, you've done it. Like I said, there's many products. In order to find the right ones for you, it can be some trial and error in the beginning, but once you find your routine, you should be good. And unless something happens with your skin going forward where we need to do some crusting or different things, that should be your routine, and you should be good to go. And these pouch changes don't have to take very long. Now, when I say pouch change, I mean the entire piece. When I think of emptying it, that's going to be several times a day. So depending on how much you function, etc. And that has to do with your regular bowel regimen, probably what it even was beforehand. So if you're prone to constipation a little bit, you may only have to empty it a couple times a day. Now, I'll go over things having to do with constipation. When I say constipation, I should correct. I mean people with a slower motility. Constipation is a whole other thing I'd like to go over at some point, because we do not want that, whether it's colostomy, ileostomy, we don't want any backing up, because that can lead to blockages and things like that. So about 4 to 5 times a day for some people. Some people it might be 3. They have slower motility. And again, we're going to open this little flap at the bottom. Okay. Little pop tap. Makes it easier to grab. See the inside. And we're going to just push contents out into the toilet. You might take 1 or 2. Gentle push. You don't have to shove, because that's how you cause leaks up here as well. And then I'm going to take a tissue. This is my hypothetical tissue. And I'm going to clean around the outside, clean the inside, clean around the outside. Okay, it's really good and clean. Now I can roll it on back up and Velcro. Lovely. And just to show you what it looks like when I'm taking it off. So here we go. You see this inner piece right here that I have stuck to my skin? That's almost the exact color of my skin, so it's hard to see here. So not the bag, but the adhesive piece underneath. I'm gonna spray, ooh, it's chilly. Spray all the way around. Spray. That is cold. Spray. Ideally, I did in fact just empty my bag. That would be the ideal. My sticker came off with it, because it's also adhesive. And then once I have my bag off, remember we already have the other bag prepped, and we're gonna go ahead and clean the skin with just water, okay? Just water. Clean that skin, and then place the no sting barrier film on here and place our new pouch. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know. I am gonna try my best. I was not born to be in front of a camera, but I'm trying my best to make this concise and less confusing for those who are having to go through this, okay? The best I can, and adjust to your new lifestyle, just like with anything. So, yep, and then you'll throw this bag that has just been used in the trash and start your next one that'll last 3 to 5 days. So, thank you for listening.